Welcome to SQL learning session. Today I'll be talking about columns and data types from Database for Developer session. This tutorial has around 12 sections and today I'll go from 1 through 6. So let's dig into it. Starting with the one, defining columns. A table in Oracle database can have up to 1000 columns. That's quite a lot of columns. And these columns can be defined when you create a table, or it can be done when you modify a table. But when you create a table, at least you need to have at least one column. That's for sure. And when you define a column in a table, usually it has a data type. And data determines what kind of value you can store in that particular column. Now let's do a learning by doing example here. What we have here is create table, and we're creating a table called. This table has three columns. The first column is this is a character column, which is varchar2. It is a ASCII column. Varchar2 is a ASCII encoded table, and the length is 100. This is a number column. It is a number column where it is basically an integer. And thirdly, it is a date column, and where is a data type is date. Let me go ahead and create this table. This table has been created now. Now, next step, we need to view the column information. How do you do that? We can do that by selecting from user table columns. These user table columns have many columns, but what we are interested in, table name, column name, data type, data length, data precision, and data scale. What do we see here? We see that it has three rows, one for each column of our table, and it says the column 1, which is the character column, is a varchar2, and it is a length of 100, as we have defined earlier. Second is a number column. It is number, and it is a length of 22. And thirdly is a date column, it is a length of 7. It doesn't have any precision if you look at the integer column, because it doesn't have any decimal places. It is all integers. Now let's try some exercise where we have to do some typing here. We are creating a table called toys. And when we create a table, we are creating a table column called toy name and naming it as a varchar2, which is a ASCII data type in ASCII encoding with a 10 length. And after we create this table, we'll do select from the user tab columns to see the columns for this column column metadata for this column for this table, and we select from user tab columns to look at the metadata for this table, and here it says column name is toy name, data type is varchar2, and there are limits 10. And we get the same result as shown here in the tutorial. Moving on to section 4, character data types. Oracle has three character types. One is varchar2, second is char, and third is club. Varchar2 can hold up to 32,767 number of characters after 12 release. But before that, it used to be able to hold only 4,000 bytes or 4,000 characters. In char data type, char data can hold up to is 2,000 bytes or 2,000 characters. And when you define a char data type column, you have to specify how much character you want to hold. You should only use this character if the length of the data type is fixed, meaning all strings are of same fixed length. And lastly, club. Club is a data type which can store up to 32 terabyte of data. It is the largest data type that can store large amount of data, and that's why it is called club. You should only use this data type when you cannot use varchar2, and that means you need more storage space for data that can be afforded than varchar2. Now let's see an example which says, for which we have here, we are creating a table here called character data, and it has four columns: varchar10 column, varchar4000 column, car10 column, and club column. So varchar10 column is a varchar2 with a length 10. Varchar4000 column is of data type varchar2 with 4000 length. Car10 column is of car data type with 10 length, and club is club data type. You don't need to define what's the size of this column. Then we'll run this and see what we get. All right, we have this table created. Now let's run this. Select from user tab columns for car data type table. What we have here, we have four columns for this particular table. First column is varchar2 with length 10 as we have defined. Second is varchar4000 column with varchar2 with 4000 data length as we have defined. Similarly with the car10 car club, and these are all 4000. At this point, I'm not sure why club call is 4000 data length. I'm not sure about that. Then each of these data type has its own n counterpart or n variation, meaning varchar2 have n varchar2, char have n char, and club have n club. And these data types store data in Unicode format. But the data we just discussed, which doesn't have n prefix, they store data in ASCII format. Moving on to number 5 section, numeric data types. Building numeric data types for Oracle, there are four built-in numeric data types. One is number, second is float, third is binary float, and fourth is finally binary double. Number, number is number is Number is a most common data type, numeric data type, and it can be included with the precision scale. Precision is the number of significant digit figures allowed. Scale determines digits from decimal point. Database rounds value that exceed the scale. For example, here it says number is equal to 3 2. That means three. What is three? Three is a number of total number of length of the total number of digits that's allowed in this, and scale is a number of digits after decimal point. When you say precision is a total number of digits excluding the decimal point that is allowed in the column. Total number of digits, and scale is the number of digits that is after the decimal point. If you omit the precision scale, the number defaults to maximum range and precision. Float is a subtype of number. You can use it to store floating point numbers, but we recommend you use binary float or binary double instead. Binary float and binary double, what are they? They are floating point numbers. They can have any number of digits after decimal point. Binary float is 32-bit single precision floating number. Binary double is 64-bit double precision floating number. The limits of this data type are, these are the maximum values this data type can hold. ANSI numeric types. Oracle data also supports ANSI numeric data types, which map back to built-in types. Integer maps to number, and real maps to float. Now let's run an example here. We have these 7 columns here with its different data types, and we'll create a table called numeric data for this table. And let's see what we get when we run the select from the user tab columns for this table. Numeric, the first column, it has a 3 data precision and 2 scale. And similarly, this has a 3 precision minus 2 scale. Integer has 0 scale but 5 precision. 0 scale and 5 precision. What does this mean? This means the total number of digits this thing can hold is up to 5 digits, but there is no decimal places allowed for this. Integer column, the precision is infinite. You can any number of digits is allowed, but there is no decimal point for this. Floating, the precision is 10, and there is no decimal point for floating columns. Floating columns, there is no specification or there is no limit for floating columns, but maximum number of digit you can put is before decimal you can put is 10. Same for real column, maximum number of digit you can put is 63, and there's no limit after for a number of digits after the decimal point. Binary float has 10, and the binary float column and binary double column, There is no limit for precision and scale for this. Oracle data has following uh, data type. Now we have finished our numeric data types. Now we have concluded our learning session today. Let me quickly summarize what we discussed today. We discussed about defining columns. We talked about how to view the column information or column metadata of a given table. We did some exercises. We talked about character data types. We talked about numeric data types for today. That's all for today. I will see you in next learning session. Thank you so much.